1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Quick Drag. Today we are going to be talking about episode 7 of Canada's Drag Race, and I have an amazing new drag artist co-host from Toronto, Ontario. It's Rubi Strange!
Hello, chickens.
Hey, how's it going, Ruby?
It's going. We live in the La Vida gay life.
We had episode 7 of Canada's Drag Race, which just aired. The girls come into the workroom after Boa's exit, and Lemon talks a little bit about how it seems like everyone throwing her under the bus last week was a little bit more personal than it was critical.
I do agree with that. At that point, I would just be like, dismiss it. Like, okay, bye, girl.
I'm glad that she's aware of that and that she knows that it's personal, and hopefully she's able to kind of just set it aside and focus. Bobo is feeling really defeated and pissed, obviously.
Hey, Mama's mad. She was heated. And I get it. Like, you're doing so well in the competition. You're consistent. And so, like, you want a win. You want to show yourself that you are a good winner for the competition.
They're not going to crown somebody if they haven't won anything along the way. So she's got to step it up. There's only a few episodes left.
That part.
It's a new day in the workroom, and Brooke comes in to tell them about their Maxi challenge, which is going to be the Miss Loose Jaw pageant. For the first time in Drag Race history, we're having a pageant on the show.
I like the idea. It's fun because pageants are something that, like, as a drag performer, I think, like, no matter what city you're in, there's some sort of pageant going on.
I think it's also fun that they set it in a, like, small town sort of feel. It allows them the opportunity to really bring big characters and be obnoxious or lean into something really funny or over the top.
It was very someone's favorite TLC show, you know?
Yes. In this pageant, they're instructed to be small town girls with big personality, and each will be given a character. The characters are given by Rita, who won last week's Maxi challenge.
I think she was just picking what she wanted for herself, and then just kind of like, oh, you remind me of this, any kind of which way after that.
Rita picks the character Mismatched for herself, which is a hopeless romantic, #blessed sort of woman. Jimbo gets the character Misbehaving, who's kind of the town bicycle horn dog type character. Bobo gets the character Misinformed, who's kind of like a know-it-all, nobody can tell her anything. Lemon gets Misfits, who's kind of a bratty pageant princess. Elona gets Miserable, who is sad, kind of an Eeyore character. And Pri gets Misdemeanor, who's more of an angry kind of gal. In the workroom, Lemon and Elona seem to be really relating to their characters.
Lemon wearing her wig out of drag was it to me. Like, that is all of us. The minute we get a new hat, honey, just walking it around the living room like you're that girl.
Brooke comes to do some walkthroughs in the workroom. She asks Lemon about everyone throwing her under the bus last week. She realizes that their reasons were personal, which is hard because she feels like people don't like her, but that's not her problem. She's gonna keep it pushing.
That's the kind of, like, approach you've got to have. These people are running for the same crown you are. Pay them no mind. Leave them in the dust.
With Priyanka, she says to Brooke that she really wants to prove herself with improv because she obviously did not do great with the Snatch Game. So this is her chance to redeem herself. With Rita during the walkthrough, Rita expresses that she's feeling pressure to perform for all French Canadians as she's the only French Canadian left in the competition.
I've worked with Rita. She's always very to herself, calm, quiet, collected. So, like, I get what they're saying with not seeing through Rita's personality. They just gotta, like, break through that.
Yeah, she seems comfortable playing a character, but she's definitely a little bit more guarded when it comes to herself. I thought Brooke was really encouraging with Bobo during the walkthrough, because Bobo is obviously getting a little bit concerned about her place in the competition with not having won anything. But Brooke basically gives her a bit of a pep talk to be like, you've been doing great every week, you've never been in the bottom, you need to focus on the fact that you're doing well in this competition and just continue to let yourself shine. And then with Elona during the walkthrough, they talk about her not being one note, because she was last week. And they talk about her representation of being the first First Nations, non-binary, two-spirited queen on the program.
I'd love to see the representation. I would love to see next year more representation. There's so many artists that are so good and so talented that are trans or APAP or king. It just needs to be showcased.
I agree.
Period.
Are you listening, Canada's Drag Race? They're not watching this. With Jimbo in the walkthrough, Jimbo says that they started with a vaudeville troupe and doing sketch comedy, so they're very comfortable being in front of an audience.
It's good that she literally has the skills to like back up what she's doing.
So we move into the first pageant in Drag Race history, the Miss Loose Jaw pageant. Our judges for the pageant are Michelle Dewberry, Tracy Melchor, and Stefan Brogan. I was so excited to see Michelle Dewberry there.
We love to see Michelle. And I'd love to see the legends of the drag scene be showcased.
The girls start with their intros during the pageant. Was there anybody that stood out during the intros for you?
Lemon. Let me tell you, the minute she opened her mouth, I was like, this is it. She's funny, she's got the whole character down. I loved it.
And then during the talent portion, what did you think about the talents?
First of all, I want to know if they got to choose their talent or if the talent was assigned to them. Because if it was not assigned to them, if they got to choose, I have questions.
Many questions, yes.
Many questions. To start off, Miss Alona, I see what she was trying to do. It's just, it was all character, no fun. It just didn't translate.
She was like, the audience is loving it, and they cut to the audience deadpan. Also, she was like, the point is, like, I think it's so funny that they feel uncomfortable. Like, that's the funny part of it. And I was like, I don't know that that's funny, though.
Scarlett, with you, Bongo. Interesting. I would say that. I love how she like circles the bongo. She is her own sound bowl. I love Scarlett's acting voice, which is always this like really high pitch. I love it. It's so sweet. Gosh. Lemon and her mimery.
I thought it was a good choice. I mean, it's weird, and I liked her explanation of it being like, I think it's the funniest thing to do the stupidest thing, which would be mine.
But they did get to choose.
Oh, good point.
Figured it out like Nancy Drew, catch up quick like
But then that makes me wonder, why did Rita choose wrapping a gift? I didn't get it.
You know what? It made no sense to me.
I didn't get it. Next was Swimsuit. The only thing I really noted from that was that lemon padded.
I loved it, and it was a good shade. She was done right. I love it.
It shows that she's taking the critiques that she's been getting.
Which will get you very far in the
Exactly, absolutely. And then they move into the interview portion with Priyanka. Tracy said the reading literacy is 99% of the Canadian public. And Priyanka was like, well, I'm the 1%.
I'm not 1%.
Also, in the interview when Jimbo blew the mic.
That was good. I gotta deep throat that mic, show him the skills.
Also, Lemon in the interview. I don't even remember what the question was. She was like, oh, I'm gonna kill that bitch, Tracy. Oh, and world peace.
Kill that bitch, Tracy. I'm changing my Twitter handle right now. Like, it's so good. And I love the twist at the end. Michelle Dewberry stole the crown.
The oldest drag queen in the world just snatching the crown.
I was like, you better work, you old bitch.
In the workroom, they are getting ready for the runway. Scarlett seems very on edge, which is an ongoing theme these days.
Her tone is very pointed.
She says she's feeling cranky, and Elona says, yeah. And it pops off into the fight about nothing.
My favorite part was Scarlett literally screaming, I'm not being negative towards you, like while she's screaming at this girl. It kind of just started to feel like she was just mad at Alona for like costing her win.
I think it was Lemon who said it, but they both are the type that want the last word, so this fight could go on forever. And it just kept going when it didn't need to, and it wasn't a fight about anything. They move on to talk about respecting the elders in drag because they had Michelle Dewberry at the pageant. That was so great. It's so important and necessary for us to know the people that came before.
All those people essentially passed down all of the genes of drag throughout the city, which is why like in every city drag is different. So it's always important to respect like the girls that came before.
Rita used to be a fair bit heavier. And she talks about Lady Bunny being kind of one of those people that she knew about when she got into drag, that she could model herself after and just be fearless.
I remember like seeing Rita coming up through her like body journey. I'm very happy that she's feeling very body positive.
And Lemon also talks about coming to terms with her own body. Being a dancer, she was often criticized for her body not being particularly dancerly enough. And this talk about about body positivity was really great because I feel like it's something that probably a lot of Drag Race fandom, but more so the queer community as a whole, needs to hear.
It's good to talk about everyone loving their own body because everyone can honestly relate to not loving their own body at one time or another.
An important conversation to have for sure. We move to the runway where the category is Pageant Perfection. Let's walk through each of the looks. First up on the runway was Elona.
I didn't like the rhinestone jacket. I would have loved it if somehow she made the jacket part of the dress. I do appreciate how she sticks to her color scheme.
I agree, it seemed a bit disjointed with the overlay of the jacket. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Next on the runway was Lemon.
I love that big crinoline skirt. It was very pageant girl, very kind of boo-boo child.
She was performing on the runway. She was giving you child pageant star, the house down. Next on the runway was Rita.
The most beautiful she has looked all season. I love the way that the gloves matched the gown perfectly. I loved it. I thought she looked gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree. She looked stunning. That dress was beautiful. The hair, I also loved with it, but when the prompt is Pageant Perfection, that wasn't really pageant hair for me. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that I think if she had done that, it would have been Pageant Perfection.
Next we have Priyanka.
That's right.
I love the colors of it. I thought it was very beautiful.
I thought it looked great on her and she looked beautiful in it. There was something about it for me that just didn't excite me. Next on the runway was Jimbo. This
is the third time she's worn a hoop skirt. I loved her diamond tier. I enjoyed the Cindy Lou Who hair, but like the dress, it was just big and pink with feathers.
I did not care for this outfit. It didn't read as expensive, which I think a lot of pageant stuff does. I feel like Jimbo's fashion choices in general have been pretty strong. Their runways have been great. So it was surprising to see that it missed the mark so much with this one. Last on the runway was Bobo.
I thought it was beautiful. I loved the hair. It was gorgeous stuff.
She looked stunning. She always has that kind of edge, and I think she did have a little bit of that as well, still with this look. We get to the critiques with the judges. For Elona, they said the character she was giving wasn't really a sad sack, which is what she was supposed to be. It was more kind of like a petulant child, and it was not really ever funny. It was just kind of angry.
I agree with that critique.
For Lemon's critiques, they really liked her character in the pageant, and they thought that the runway risk that she took paid off.
She saw everyone coming at her last week saying she's the one that should go home, and she came back this week and she said, I would like to tell you several things starting with no. And she made several points.
Points were made, that is for certain. The next critique was for Rita. They thought that her performance in the pageant wasn't really memorable, but they loved her dress.
Thinking now, I remember her runway 10 times more than I remember what she was like in the challenge.
Next being critiqued was Priyanka. They said that her performance was kind of one note and she played it small and she kind of fell flat.
I would sum it up to say like, fine, you did it. Very meh.
The next one to be critiqued is Jimbo.
I agree with everything the judges said. It wasn't glamour. It was very camp. Next is Scarlet Bobo.
Yes.
And I have a question as to why every outfit she wears has a B on it somewhere. I love the consistency through it.
So the girls go backstage to untuck while the judges deliberate, and Pri talks about being pretty disappointed in herself, and she gets a little choked up in the confessional because she's expecting more of herself in these kinds of challenges.
Jimbo is fucking pissed. Everyone's taste level has been questioned this season. You are not the only one.
It was weird to see how affected she was by it.
I have a theory that there's a few contestants that have been on this season that have never faced critique for their drag before. So this whole competition thing is very interesting for them. So like all this coming at them all at once, I'm sure it's a lot, but girls, sit down.
And Rita asks if she can offer her opinion, and Rita says, you look old, which, where is the lie?
Where is the lie? And then Jimbo attacked her, just went in.
Doesn't make you look good if somebody's telling you something that may not be favorable, but then you're gonna turn around and like be like this, that, and that.
What Miss Jimbo said was not incorrect, but it was just not the time nor the place.
Meanwhile, during the judges' critiques, I don't remember what the context was or why, but Ali X referring to someone as a glamazon Zamboni.
It was Rhea. Her little dress swished across the stage, and I love that. I love they showed a clip of each one of the girls listening to the lip sync. I was like, no one feels it.
The girls get back to the runway for the decisions from the judges. Lemon and Scarlett are in the top, with Lemon being announced as the winner.
Scarlett's face was fluff.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, mama. If I ever want to make a quick coin, I'm going to play poker with Scarlett. She has no poker face. They said, Lemon, you're the winner. She said... Dead.
Rita and Jimbo are safe, and our bottom two are Elona and Priyanka. They are asked to prepare a lip sync to Ali X's Hello. What did you think of the lip sync?
Priyanka's an amazing lip sync. She very much has that it thing where no matter what she's doing, she can connect with who she needs to connect to in the audience.
She really had a good arc with her lip sync, I felt. Elona was definitely a bit more stationary, definitely emoting the song, but it wasn't as varied in terms of the performance. However, I will say that Elona has shown herself to be a very capable and very talented lip syncer as well. She's been in the bottom twice before and had incredible lip syncs both those times. She really is able to connect to a song in a great way. So after the lip sync, Priyanka gets Shantae You Stay, and unfortunately for Elona, it's Sashay Away. And that ends episode 7 of Canada's Drag Race. But be sure to come back on Wednesday because we will have a profile and performance from our drag artist co-host of the week, Rubi Strange. Thanks so much for watching Quick Drag. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit the subscribe button over there, click on the social media links in the description below, and be sure to come back on Wednesday when we have a profile and performance from Rubi Strange.